Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. There is no jobs, no health, no hope, no help, no future here in Babylon for Babylonians. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rekaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the tabernacle of David, all right, Amos 9:11. The tabernacle of David, the 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel that are going to be the ruling class people here on earth under the authority of who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC, right? They will enforce the laws of heaven on earth as it is in heaven. Just as the Lord prayer says, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, which primarily make up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. And to the few Wakwath, meaning the sisters that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm coming at you with a great lesson, or a short lesson. Didn't mean to say great, but a lesson in truth. All right. So, when it says that in Ecclesiastes 12:3, when it says in the days when the keepers of the house, the markets are upside down. The investors, the bankers, everyone's freaking out. This place is collapsing. As you see the title of Kim Iverson's video on the top, U.S. collapse is imminent despite Trump's attempts to save it. All right, with her special speaker. All right. Then the next one is this is the biggest crime, Ron Paul, on U.S. economy's inevitable collapse. The impact of Nancy Pelosi's Taiwanese visit. And then the third one, how would a nuclear war between Russia and U.S. affect you personally? Yeah, well, if you're not on the chariot above, and they're showing you all those lights you see going back and forth, those are all missiles, just as the Bible describes, and the Lord's going to turn them and guide them all to Babylon. So think about that. Okay. So I'm going to play a couple short videos. Let's see how dire the job situation is. Let me go to the receipt folder to my beloved April O'Neil. Always keeping me loaded up with the reports. But this was a TikTok video, so I'm not on TikTok, and I'm not even going to put it to the screen. I'm just going to play it. You don't need to see it. You just need to hear it.
Said many times in previous videos that when they start to let the recruiters go, the job market is good. And now we're hearing from recruiters on social media that they were let go. And they're giving the same warning that I gave back then. They're not hiring. And they're reconfirming, and we haven't been hiring. Those job ads that you see that you're applying for, that you're getting frustrated with, that you're taking the time to write a specific cover letter for and make sure your resume is specific to that job offering, they're going straight in the trash. Nobody's even looking at them. They haven't been hiring for a while, and we don't plan on seeing any hiring anytime soon. When they get rid of the recruiters, the writing is on the wall. the economy is cooked. We're seeing earnings come out in a lot of companies. They're missing their earnings. They're saying specifically the middle class and the poor are not spending money. They don't have the money. They're not saying that part, but they're just saying they're not spending money, and they're not spending money with us. But we know that the economy is probably cooked too, and we're heading to a path. It's going to be hard for a lot of people. It's going to get harder. It's hard now, and it's going to get harder. Yeah, there is no short-term relief anywhere to be seen, in my opinion. I've said many times in previous.
So yeah, it's going down, and it's going down fast. He said that people are, they're not even looking at your resumes. You're taking the time to fill out specific parts, and it's, which brings us back to that scripture we read. When it says in verse 4, Ecclesiastes 12:4, when it says, "And the door shall be shut in the streets," with all these companies shutting their doors, and all these large corporations shutting their, many of the doors. I think 130 something Outback restaurants shut down, the whole chain or something like that. And Amazon let go of, people in the high thousands. The number, I think it was over 100,000 people, 150,000 lost their jobs in like 1 or 2 days, on top of the people who've already been losing their jobs. But in verse 4 it says, and the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, right? And all the daughters of music are brought low. So basically getting up early to try and getting those applications in, it's become a waste of time. And it's forcing a lot of adults to move in with siblings, to move back home, with their parents. Yeah. So let's play this next video.
They're laying off the recruiters. They are laying off the recruiters. And if you're not a recruiter like me, and you're not living and breathing on LinkedIn, you're probably not seeing this. But the majority of people that I'm seeing recently laid off are the recruiters. And you know what that means? That means they're not hiring. We're not hiring. And they are going to tell you that it's because this work is being replaced by AI, but we are not there yet. Not collectively. We still need recruiters, and they're being laid off in massive numbers. And I have not seen this since 2008.
Damn.
When things were really bad. I made a video about this several months ago. I saw this coming, but this is a 5-alarm fire. They are not hiring. They are firing recruiters. That is a very bad sign. Bye.
5-alarm fire. So the people that do the hiring are being laid off. What is that telling you? And sometimes, I'm listening to brothers, we have a strict order here within Great Millstone, Chicago, that, which really came down from up top. But, if you don't have a job, then you need a hustle, 2-3 hustles, whatever. But it really is getting to the point where there's no jobs, and the jobs are running out, and the hustles too. And I actually embrace it. I'm looking forward to it. Because if you want everything to keep being fine and dandy, we're never going to get to the good part. Okay? This place is really screwed, it's like, damn, maybe I gotta, take it easy on some of the brothers. Because some of the, the elder brothers in the Chicago camp, they've been going nuts on certain brothers. But I'm like, I really have to read into their spirit. Because if you're just being lazy, you're being lazy. But the fact is that there really isn't a lot of work out there. And then it's jobs that, that even immigrants don't want to do. It's really getting bad, man. But let's go to Jeremiah, because this place is cooked, like the guy said in the first video. It's Jeremiah 51:9. And it reads, actually, I'm going to start at verse 7. And it reads, Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. See, everybody wanted to come to America. So many movies, in all different languages and accents. People want to come to America. And now for what? Now people are leaving America in droves. And people are beginning to see America for what it is. Right? When you get a cup of democracy, you get alphabet lifestyle. Your daughters want to cut off their breasts. Your sons want to cut off their rods. It just a bunch of weird stuff. You get GMO food that gives you all kind of cancer and different type of illnesses. Sexual organs aren't working properly on adults in America. The evidence of that is all the in vitro clinics and all that stuff, especially for Edomites. Them more than anyone else. And you're constantly sick. The air, the water, the food. You find the curses are. Salakia, the curses are upon these people like a cheap coat. And they made the nations drunk with their wine, with their philosophies. And now the nations are mad. Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto the heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. So a lot of, foreigners that were making money doing business here, they're running back to their own countries, their own land. I just watched a video shortly, but it was in the dialect of Elam's language, of an Indian language, was the only reason I didn't watch it. But the title, and I could tell what they were saying, is that America is done. And India has to, and that India is a part of BRICS. I can foresee that. I mean, I could not foresee. That's the wrong word. I could, just from his speech and his mannerisms and a few words that he said in English. All right, because remember, proper nouns don't translate. It's obvious that this is what he was saying. What he was saying, that America is screwed and everyone attached to it is screwed, and basically you're gonna be better off with with the BRICS nations, in a nutshell. Which nothing's gonna stop, because that video on the bottom, a simulation video of a ICBM war between the U.S. and Russia. Yeah, and I know the last couple times they did it, the U.S. didn't do well. And then we also know that because of the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures. The Lord's going to put his spirit and guide all the ones to Babylon, and none of them are going to miss. He's literally going to melt Babylon. And if you're not among the elect of the true Israelites, all right, that are not being acknowledged by the world or in the world, that are still scattered, if you're not a part of them when that rescue comes for them, when the deliverance comes, you're pretty much toast. You put all your eggs into the wrong bucket, trusting in Egypt. Matter of fact, let's get that. It's Isaiah 30. Yeah, Isaiah 30:1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, but take cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin. That go and walk down in Egypt, and have not asked of my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust of the shadow of Egypt your confusion." And these people are confused now, worried, crying about Trump giving them their little SNAP and EBT benefits. Meanwhile, he's taking away your rights to travel, your rights to own a firearm, your rights to speak your mind, to speak freely, and setting up laws to punish you if you speak about the people who are setting this up, which are mainly, you know, the JOOs, the little hats. They're behind this this madness, this order ab chaos, this order out of chaos that they're trying to do. This is a purposeful lockdown. And as for you Jakes out there, you Jacobites, this is Ephesians 2:12. And it reads that at that time ye were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. And this is how you know that he's coming. It's all about the Israelites. And strangers from the covenants of the promise, meaning that the law still stands. All right. The promise still stands. And having no hope without God in the world. All right. But now in Hamashiach Yahushai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Hamashiach. And that's just simply what it is. For he is our peace, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. All right, because he was that that voice, that mediator between us and Yahweh to get that wrath off of us. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in the ordinances, for to make himself one twain a new man, so making peace. And that doesn't mean that the law was done away with. All right. The law endures forever. That is how you keeping graces with the Lord. That's what the nations are going to have to do. And that's what the 144,000 judges are for. For when the nations who will not be made perfect, when the law will not be put into the inward parts, when they go off, they have to be judged. That's your 144,000, your kingdom of heaven, your new heaven and new Jerusalem coming down. All right? That's what it is. That's what's happening. So Babylon's collapse is in real time. And the Lord is visiting the world which he made. And he's making these things happen. Matter of fact, we'll finish with that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. And it reads, and he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, my cousin just sent me all these crazy earthquakes that just happened, right? And the amount of them. Never in history has this happened. This many earthquakes this close together all over the world, man. It to me also why there's uproars of the people all over the world. And this is just a coincidence, huh? Then thou shalt well understand. Oh, I missed the part. Therefore, when thou shalt see the earthquakes and the uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that it is the that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. It's happening. It says, even so the times of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. The crazy weather, the uproars of the people, right? The earthquakes all over the place. And now this whole Atlas thing, which if you're in the know, you know, right? It's not a star. It's not an asteroid. And they've already admitted that it has to be piloted by someone. And more than likely, that pilot is the man in the clouds. Now that video is circling all over the place. We will show that. All right. over the Denver airport. All right. So with that, we want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekaha Kodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.